Should you pay off your mortgage early? This is a question that a lot of people are wrestling with today. My name's Gartner. I'm with Epic Financial Strategies, and let's talk about if it makes sense for you to pay off your mortgage early. So what do you think, right? It kind of sounds nice. I have no mortgage payment. I don't have to worry about that bill. You're probably looking at rates today and you're wondering, well, does this make sense? So, what do you think? Do you think this is the right thing? At the end of the day, paying your mortgage is a moral decision, right? We want to pay our mortgage no matter what. But paying it all off and doing it early, well, that's really where we have to look at what are the alternatives and is one thing better than the other. So one of the first things you want to think about when you're thinking about paying off your mortgage is a thing called lost opportunity cost, right? The idea of if I'm putting extra money towards my mortgage payment to pay down the principal, well, what else could I be doing with those dollars? So if I'm putting those dollars towards my mortgage, right, I'm obviously paying down principal, and over the long run, it's probably going to save me some interest. But if I have it in a different investment, if I'm using those dollars somewhere else, could I maybe get a better rate of return on my money and maybe end up at the end of this time period with more money than I would have had I just put it into the house? The next thing you want to think about is, look, even though interest rates are so low today, you still do have a mortgage interest rate write-off. And it's one of the few write-offs you get to have on your taxes. So if you change that and you change the amount of interest that you're paying down, maybe you lose some of that write-off. And that might be something that you want to still continue to have. This is where you'd want to check with your tax advisor and see if it makes sense. Like, hey, what happens if I lose this interest rate deduction? The sound basis of any financial plan, you want to have control over your dollars. So when you're paying money into your home, right? I'm thinking your principal residence. When you're paying money into that, who actually owns that house, right? If you don't make the payments, do you get to keep it, or does the bank come in and say, hey, you know what? This is ours. You're out. So if you've put in a lot of extra money into that and you get into a situation where maybe you can't make those payments, well, now what do you have to do? You have to sell it. Are market conditions right for you to sell and recapture all your money? Will the bank refinance you if you don't have a job? These are all questions and things that you need to think about, because what happens is you're actually giving up control of your dollars while you're paying that mortgage. When you've gotten your house paid off and you get into retirement, what do those options look like at that point, right? A lot of people are looking at reverse mortgages and those types of things for additional income in retirement. Well, again, if that's the only or our largest asset, that might be the only choice that we have, and that might be the right choice. However, if we've set up different avenues and different buckets of money, we get more choices in retirement, and we're not held to whatever the bank will allow us to do. So generally what people are looking at, and you might be looking at it for yourself, right? A 30-year mortgage, a 15-year mortgage. I want to move over to a 15-year because this is going to pay my house off quicker. Think of the alternative. You could take, right, what am I paying on a 30-year versus what am I paying on a 15-year? And what is that difference? So if you're taking the difference between that 30-year payment and the 15-year payment and you're saving it into another vehicle, by the time you get 15 years out, it's likely that if you found something that is performing well for you, you could have more money in this bucket here. And if you wanted, you could go ahead and pay your mortgage off. The other thing that you have is you have some flexibility. If you have that 30-year mortgage, you're not locked into this higher payment. What happens if things get tight and you can't make that higher payment? So these are some things you want to consider when you're saying, should I pay this off early? We created a free training just for you. In the description box below, click the link. That's gonna get you to our epic financial freedom roadmap. That map is gonna help walk you through some of the vehicles that are available and help you understand lost opportunity costs, help you understand the rules of money and the velocity of money. These are all things that are very important when you're considering, should I pay off my mortgage early?